Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Purls and Pyrs podcast. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine, on Ravelry, Instagram, Pinterest, all the social medias. For new viewers, thanks for checking me out, and for returning viewers, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate each and every one of you. So I have a lot of stuff to show today. It is August 9th? Yeah, August 9th, 2024. And it's been a few weeks since I've recorded. I actually have a podcast still on my phone that I need to edit, but yeah, whenever I have time to edit and I have access to my computer, we'll do that. But in the meantime, I have completed quite a few things. Have I completed quite a few things? No, I've worked on a lot of things. I do have one finished object for today. Yeah, but I didn't want to let yet another week go by and not record something. So yeah, it's a very rainy day, but it's super humid. So it's in the 70s, but it just feels humid, because it's like drizzling, raining, and it's been drizzling, raining for like 2 days. So I'm wearing a new shirt. A Jane Austen themed shirt, but no knitting today because it's kind of stuffy in my house. So, without further ado, let me show you finished objects. So my one and only finished object for this week is socks. Surprise, surprise. That's what I've been knitting a lot this year, surprisingly, but I have a ton of sock yarn, so it's a good thing that I'm knitting socks, and I need them for my sock drawer because I wear hand knit socks every day in the winter, and whenever I wear socks, I wear hand knit socks, so I do need them. So this pair is out of Woolens and Nosh that my friends gifted to me last year at Rhinebeck. So my friends Jen and Andrea, in the Wool Festival that shall not be named, they found the Woolens and Nosh booth. I did not. It was a tangled mess. So I was not able to purchase any. So they actually gave me a skein of Woolens and Nosh, which was very kind of them to do. So this one is the Nevermore colorway. And then I used some Knit Picks Patton's Croy in the flax colorway for the heels and toes, just so I wouldn't break up the striping. And the striping is amazingly matched, like basically the same on both socks. I really, really love them. So they're nice spooky holiday Halloween socks. I'm mainly knitting autumnal colored socks for me. That seems to be the mood I'm in. Yeah, so that's another pair of socks for my sock drawer. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, what else can I say? They're just vanilla socks. Nothing special. And I have quite a bit of yarn left over, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for a pair of socks for Joshua. I think maybe, but he wears 60 stitch socks now. However, I do think if I did like cuffs, heels, toes, I probably could get away with making a pair of socks for him out of this. I'm going to wait though, because I'm kind of over knitting with this yarn for a little bit. And if I go right away into another pair of socks out of the same stuff, I get really burnt out on them and then I don't finish them. So that's just going to go in my scrap bin for a little bit, but I think I will use the remainder to make a pair of socks for Joshua, who is my youngest child. I've busted out the Halloween mugs because I am over summer. I don't want summer anymore. I'm done with it. I don't want it to be hot anymore. I don't want it to be summer anymore. I'm ready for fall. Bring it on. So then in whips. This is the first finished sock of a pair for Joshua. And these are West Yorkshire Spinners Fairy Lights for the main color. And then West Yorkshire Spinners Chocolate Mint for the contrast. And I did cuff heels toes for contrast for him, because I do also want to make a pair for me out of the same yarn. I have 2 skeins of it though, so there will be plenty, but I'm thinking maybe it would be fun for us to have like matching family socks. And I will need a whole skein to make a pair for Josh. So yeah, I think that will work. So I've done the first sock, and then the second sock I have just finished turning the heel. And so I just need to pick up stitches for the gusset and then knit the foot. And we will be rocking and rolling for those. I want to finish these before school starts. School starts here August 28th. So it would be nice for him to have at least one new pair of socks for school time. He's outgrowing many of his socks. They're too short. So I also may unpick some of the toes and add some length to a few pairs of his socks, just so that they fit him better for wearing. Unfortunately, my tripod is in the basement. My husband was recording his weightlifting videos to post on Instagram, and I don't have my tripod, but I wanted to record, so I was like, I'm not going to go get it. I'm just going to do it. Just do it in the moment. So my next whip, this is going to be a gift, but I'm late on getting them done, but that's okay. Gifts come when they come. So these are going to be some fox mitts. I don't remember the name of the pattern. I feel like it's foxy mitts, maybe. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. If my computer wants to wake up. Let's see. It is the Outfoxed Mitts by Erica Husser. Heusser. Husser. So on the front, they've got this fox. So I've got up to its head. I think I'm pretty close to being done with the thumb gusset. And then on the back, its tail wraps around the mitt. And they mirror each other on the pattern. Yeah, if you were to hold like the thumbs, the foxes would be facing each other. So if you hold your hands like this, I guess, the foxes will face each other, or this way they will face away from one another. And then if you've got one this way and one this way, the tail will line up with, this tail would line up with the body of the other fox. So pretty cool. They're going pretty quickly. I just don't work on them super frequently because I need the chart for them, and it is not a memorizable chart at all. So these do require me to be like looking at the chart. So I can work on them if I'm like listening to an audiobook, or if I'm watching a show or podcast or something like that, then they're fine. Megs is on the phone with a friend upstairs. So if you hear mumbling through the ceiling, it's my teenager talking on the phone. So the yarns that I'm using for that, this one is West Yorkshire Spinners, God, I can't say that today, in the Milk Bottle colorway. And then this one is Shibui Sock. I don't know the colorway. I think it's a number of some sort on the label, so I don't know what the actual name of it is. I got this a long time ago. It did have a little bit of moth damage on the outside of the skeins, so I'm glad that I'm using it because it's been in my stash for probably a good 10 or 12 years. And I did have like a carpet beetle / moth infestation about 12 years ago in my stash. When we were in the old house, I had it all up in the attic, up in the upstairs bedroom, but there were like crawl spaces for the attic, and it had carpet, and like it's just a very old house, so stuff got in all the time. Yeah, so I like baked everything in my car. If you recall, if you've been watching for that long, that was when I was This Old Knit podcast, and I did podcast about it, but I took everything and like spread it out in my car when it was really, really hot outside, to kill anything, because obviously cars can get really hot inside, and I didn't want to oven things, so I just had it sitting in my hot car for a few days, and that seemed to work. I rescanned and washed everything, did the car irradiation, and then I, reballed things as needed. So this one has been caked up since then, but I did have it marked as it had some damage on the outside, and there are extra ends to weave in because of that. There's a few extra ends, but once I got past like the outside part, it was fine. I haven't found any additional breaks in the yarn since the bit that I found. So hopefully I've gotten through it. I only have one ball, so I think these are perfect. I have more than enough for the pair. Obviously I've got enough milk bottle, and even if I didn't, I could get more. It's just, I think it might be like their undyed colorway. So that is those. That is that pair. And then, I don't know if I showed this one, but this is part of my 12 cast-ons of 2024. Which is a knit-along that Angela from the... Oh my gosh, Angela, I'm really sorry. I'm blanking on your podcast name. Yarn and Yarns. From the Yarn and Yarns podcast. She hosts it every year, where you pick 12 things to cast on between after Christmas and the end of January. You cast on 12 objects or fewer, but not more than 12. And then you work on them throughout the year. So I've completed the first sock of these. This is the Celebration colorway from the Cozy Knitter on the Bliss Space. This was gifted to me by my friend Jessica for my 5-year podiversary. Obviously, I've been podcasting for many more years than that, so this has been in my stash also for several years, and I wanted to knit it up this year. So I completed the first sock, and I did cast on for the second sock yesterday. So I've got those, because I'm kind of running low on sock needles, so I had to wait until I was done with this pair, and then these are the sock needles I was using for that pair that are obviously now free. So I'm casting on the second sock, and I'm almost ready to start the body of the sock, if you will. So hopefully those will be done relatively soon, maybe by the next podcast. We shall see. I think Joshua's socks will be done by the next podcast for sure. And then let's finish the socks before we move on. Okay, and then Holly Press Fibers is hosting a Baggins birthday make-along. It's basically anything Lord of the Rings themed. You can use it in this make-along. So I only had one skein of Lord of the Rings themed yarn. I picked it up in a D-stash from Bailey, who is B. Jacobs. The B. Jacobs or B. Jacobs Knits on Instagram. But Bailey was destashing a whole bunch of stuff, and I picked up this skein of Valkyrie fibers. It is Gimli, Son of Gloin. it already came wound up this way. I don't have the ambition to do these gobstopper type windings. It's really cool, but I would never do it because I just don't care that much. Yeah, so it's Valkyrie fibers. It's matte socks, so it's a 75/25 merino nylon. And it is Gimli, Son of Gloin. So, since it was a Lord of the Rings themed make-along, and I only had this one, I went ahead and cast on for a sock. So again, it's just going to be a sock for me. I thought about making it for Josh, but he's pretty hard on socks, so I don't think these would survive him. He needs a tougher sock than a merino nylon one. I tend to use like Patton's Gray for him, or Gabby's Corriedale sock base is really nice because it's super hard wearing. Targi would be good for him, that kind of stuff. So I try to use like more, I've also made BFL socks for him, and those are okay. So anyway, the colors are really nice, but it's really crappy lighting because of the rain. Let me see if I can. Maybe that's slightly better. Put up the shade. We'll see if we get any natural light at all. It's very dark. Very, very dark. Okay. So that is that one. And then I am knitting on sweaters. Just not very many. Okay. So, if you will recall, a while ago, I cast on for a Salty Air tee, but I'm going to make it long sleeved. And then I took its needles, and it has been sitting there on cords. It was like up here. It wasn't even done with the lace charts. I think I had 2 more repeats of the lace chart to go. So yeah, I decided that I want this to be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters because I really love this color and I want this sweater. So it is So Scarlet from Plies and Hellhounds. This is the Selkie base. I think I may have said it was on the Tesla base at one point, but it is the Selkie base. So the Tesla base is more of a smooth yarn. This one has very defined plies, like a chain ply or whatever, like a twist, you know? But it has silk in it. I think it is a BFL silk. These are all the things I should have looked up ahead of time. Nope, it's merino. Okay, it's a merino silk, not superwash. So it is just an 85% merino, 15% silk, non-superwash yarn. This is not showing off the color well at all. It's a very deep red color. This will be my 4th Salty Air type sweater. So I've made 2 tees, one of the DK weight, and this one's the Salty Air tee, but I'm adding sleeves. So you guys know the lace pattern by now, but it's really pretty. For me, I omit 1 repeat of the lace pattern, and that seems to fit me really well. I have my Charmed and Dangerous little black glittery pumpkin on there. Yeah, I really love it. So yeah, I'm on the body of the sweater now. I have separated for the sleeves, as you can see, and I'm zooming along. I need to pull out my gray Salty Air tee. That's the one that fits me the best, and mimic its waist shaping. because I really like how I did it on that one. The cream colored one was my first one. The gray one was my second one. So the cream colored one was the test knit. The gray one I made immediately after because I loved the fit of it. And I made some slight changes, and I really like how the gray one fits. That one I wear all the time. So I want this one to fit the same way. And then for the sleeves, I'm going to kind of mimic the sleeve shaping of the So Faded sweater, because I kind of have that nailed down for the decreases on the arm to fit my arm in a nice way. So I'm going to kind of Franken piece the patterns together. So that is that. Like I said, that's going to be my Rhinebeck sweater, or one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. I want to have one that's kind of a light fingering weight but long sleeved, one that's short sleeved, and then a warmer, thicker one for if it's cold. So the cold one will be my Old Beat sweater, which I am working on. I'm on the sleeve, but I haven't done any more since I think the last little podcast that I recorded. So I'm not going to share that one today because I've been trying to focus on this Salty Air and the sweater for Josh, which I'll show in a minute. Okay, and then one I've worked on quite a bit, but this one's going to be a tee, so it's a summery sweater. This one is the Fall Frolic, but I'm making it short sleeved. So since the last time I've shared it, I've made quite a bit of progress on the body, and this one I'm actually not adding waist shaping because it is summery, and I've noticed that my summer sweaters, I kind of, when it's really warm, I don't like them being really tight. I want them to be a little more flowy. So I'm just going straight down for this one. So yeah, the two colors of yarn I'm using are Hamster Unicorns, that's the pink, and it is from Chromatic Yarns. And then the gray is Favorite Tea from Hey Sister Yarn Co. Discontinued, so yep. I think I will have a full skein of it left over though, and I'm going to destash that. So if you're interested in this really nice pearly gray, there will be a skein of it available. Yeah. And then last but not least is the sweater for Josh. So this is the So Basic sweater by Maxim Sear, who is Max the Knitter. It is knit out of Cece's wool in the honeybee colorway, which is today showing up a very yellowy orange, but it's a deep honey color. You can see I've made a lot of progress since last time I showed it. Although look at the depth of that armhole, it's ridiculous. So I have, I don't know, let's see. This part of my finger is about 4.5 inches from here to the tip of my finger. So I'm well past that. I think I've probably got 6 inches of body of the sweater done. I'm trying to do at least 1 inch a day. My intention is to have this done by Rhinebeck to give to my husband for his birthday in October. So yeah, it's a giant man sweater. It's a giant man sweater. I can't even, like, my whole arm span here, again, about 1 meter long from my chin to the tip of my finger, and this is more than that. So yeah, it is big. The rows are very long. So like I said, I just move my progress keeper every night, and I try to knit 1 inch on it at bedtime. So far, so good. So I'm using a little pumpkin progress keeper that I won in a drawing from the Distant Stitches podcast. This is a little set of stitch markers that are from Bente, Liz Arctic Crafts. Yeah, I still have quite a bit of yarn. So I think I'm going to be fine on yarn. I wasn't sure if I was going to run out. That was the other reason I kind of want to have it done by Rhinebeck. So that way if I'm close to, or if I run out of yarn, Cece's wool is at Rhinebeck, so I could get another skein and blend it in for the sleeves. So I decided to do the whole body and then do the sleeves because I think it'll be easier to blend on the sleeves another skein than it would be to add it in to the body. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I was originally going to knit the sleeves and then knit the body, but I'm not. I'm going to knit the body and then the sleeves. Okay, and then if I have time, I do have one more idea for a sweater. I have a couple more, but I was going to do the Scotch broom cardigan, like it's a wrap cardigan from Wool & Pine, but it does have lace sleeves. It's the Scotch broom lace pattern, and I think that's going to be too much. I'm not going to be able to get that done in time because it's already August, and I kind of need to be partway done already, and I haven't even started it. So anything that has kind of a more complicated pattern, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it done in time. But I've had my eye on the Le Pouf sweater from, I think it's Beata Jessic. She's the dyer who does hedgehog fibers. But this is a free pattern on her website for the Le Pouf sweater, and you can also get the Le Pouf cardigan. They're both free. And this one is kind of a fade, but it's like a marl fade. So the idea is you're holding fingering weight double to get a DK weight. And then you're doing, you know, like 2 strands of the same color, then swapping out 1 strand for a strand of the next color, then swapping out the other strand so it's 2 of the same color, and fading down that way. So let me see. I printed it out, but it's black and white. But you get the idea here. So you would have 2 of the same color, swap, 2 of each color, swap, 2 of the same color, swap, all the way down. And it has these little poofy sleeves. That's why it's called Le Pouf. I would obviously make mine longer. I don't like sweaters that just end right at my, whatever, pants line, because if you have a chest, then things right up and they're right below your bra line, and it's not good. And it pulls, your chest pulls things up anyway. So I tend to add length, and I would add some body shaping because this one's actually really boxy. So I'm going to add body shaping on it as well. But I do think that I will make this if I have time for another Rhinebeck sweater. If I don't, no problem. I'm going to make it for an autumnal sweater. So I have my yarn picked out, and I will show it to you. Okay. This is going to be my color palette, going from here all the way across to here. So these 3 were actually a kit I bought before my first Rhinebeck. They are from Pandia's Jewels. There was also a brick red in here. It was a shawl kit for, I think, the Road to Rhinebeck shawl. I'm pretty sure. By Mina Phillip. But I knew I wanted to make a sweater. I didn't ever want to make a shawl, but I did buy the kit for it. So the colorways are, this one is Fossil. So it's got some reds in it, oranges, browns, etc. This middle one is Autumnal Equinox. And then this one is Rhinebeck or Bust. And I think the other one is like Magical Coffee or something like that. The red, but the red's completely out. I may destash it at some point, or I may use it to knit something or use it in color work. I don't know. But it's basically like this red that's in there. So then I needed some filler colors because the pattern calls for 5 to make the yardage happen, because you're holding it double, obviously. So normally 3 skeins would be a fingering weight sweater for me, but since this is DK weight and I'm holding it double, I needed more. So I had this Pandia's Jewels skein. This one was from the Star Wars fade kit that I bought, but I haven't used any of it yet. I've tried to make a sweater out of it, and I started it with this one and I really didn't like it. This is the one that's kind of off from all the others. So this one I think is called Tried to Rescue My Boyfriend, Ended Up on a Slave Ship or on a Slave Barge. It's supposed to be like Leia's bikini colors in Star Wars. Empire Strikes Back? No. I don't remember which one is the one with Return of the Jedi, I think is what it is, because I think it's the third one. Yeah, because the second one is when Han gets captured and frozen in carbonite at the end of it. So yeah, the third one, Return of the Jedi. So I think that'll be good, like here. So before this one. But I felt like that was a real hard transition, and there wasn't much cream in there. So I was like, I need one more. And, you know, in good Ocean's 11 fashion, I got one more. So my one more is Lavender Loon. This one is called Craving October. So it's still in our autumnal theme here. But it's a kind of creamy orange with a lot of speckles. So I actually have a sweater's quantity of this. I have 2 skeins of it, and they are the Mondo skeins of 657 yards, and I have 2 of them. It is Superwash BFL fingering. I think that Sam has kind of gone away from Superwash bases, but I bought this from her, I think 2 years ago? Maybe 3. It was a year I didn't go to Rhinebeck because I did like the online, so maybe it was 2020, because there was one year where it was virtual. India Entangled was virtual, and that was the year I got this. So anyway, I did order online. So then that got me the Gap color I think I needed to go from this to this to this. Oh my god, I'm falling over. Because it has a lot more of that orangey tone in it. So the cream will be up near my face, which I think is good because some of these more like weird sort of rust colors I don't think will look as good. But yeah, then we've got that guy. It's really hard to hold because this one's not a skein. So anyway, that's going to be my Le Pouf sweater. It may or may not make an appearance at Rhinebeck. If it doesn't, it'll make an appearance after, and I may be knitting it at Rhinebeck. Yeah. I also briefly thought about adding this one in, which is Thimble, but it's very pinky. And once I had it up against the other cream colored ones with the orange, I was like, nope, that's all pink, and there's not a hint of any sort of rust or orange in there. So this is going to keep its original purpose as I'm going to make fingerless mitts out of it. So it's on my desk, but it's not going to be in that fade palette. Yeah, so I think that's everything I have to share in terms of knitting. Life stuff, we had in-laws visiting for just a few days. It was not a very long visit, but it was very busy. So we went to Gillette Castle, which is kind of nearby here. It's not really a castle. It's more like a large English manor house, but it was built by William Gillette in the 20s. In Connecticut. He was like a famous actor and playwright of the Sherlock Holmes character. So a lot of the things that we associate with Sherlock Holmes now, like the hat with the flaps and the pipe and the, spyglass and stuff, magnifying glass, that all came from William Gillette's portrayal of Sherlock Holmes. So it was very cool. But it was a hot day, so the kids were kind of crapping out. It is air conditioned inside, so if you're going, and there's very beautiful views of the Connecticut River Valley. So I think it's one of the highest points in Connecticut, so you have a really nice vista to see. So we did get some pictures of that. But yeah, like heat index, I think it was like in the high 90s, maybe 100. So very, very hot. So Megs and I went and sat in the car while like everyone else went and took a little hike. But I didn't want them to be alone in the car, even though they're a teenager and they can have the car on and stuff with AC and all that. But yeah, I just opted to go sit with them. And I was knitting on my socks. I think I was knitting on it was one that I had on the lemon thing. Anyway, I used the little travel lemon wood spindle thingy that you can put your yarn on and then knit as you're walking around. And that worked really nicely. So I was knitting on some socks. We went to see Minions, or Despicable Me 4, which was fine. It was a cute movie. It's a kid's movie. We played some Solar Quest. I think that was pretty much it in terms of what we did. Yeah, it was just a lot of, cleaning before the visit, kind of whirlwind of 2 days of visiting, and then all of the aftermath, because I went right into month-end close for work, which is a really busy time for us every month. Yeah, so it was a lot. And then like last weekend, I took Megs and their friend shopping for some stuff, and then we went to TJ Maxx. Joshua got like this huge ghost pillow to sit on down in the basement for when he's gaming, and I got like a ceramic jack-o'-lantern to put a candle down inside of, like, like a jar candle, like if it was in a jar like this, because my knitted pumpkins, Hubble has ripped a couple of them up, and I don't trust him to not rip more of them up. So that's how I'm going to decorate my like craft room window. Excuse me. And otherwise, yeah, it's just been really crappy and rainy, so we haven't really done anything. I've been very busy with work. I've read a few books. So I've been reading this, it's the series after the Vampire Courtesan series. I think it starts with a witch called Red. It is a very good series. I am on the next to last book, and I actually started another series because I don't want it to end. I don't know if any of you do that, but when I get really close to the end of the series, it's like I'm not ready to say goodbye to these characters yet. And at this point, I've had 8 like prequel books and then 10 main series books. I think there's 11 or 12 total in the series. And I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready for it to end. But it's a really good series, so I highly recommend it. And then, I don't know, I read some small novellas that I was like, nah, they were fine. I read a cute little cozy mystery that I think was called Magic and Lattes. I'll try to put show notes. I'm not very good about that, I will freely admit, but I'll try to like put the names of the books and the authors just in case you're interested in reading them. And then I'm reading a series right now that I think is called like Bound to the Vampires or something like that. And it's a pretty cool world. It's like there are witches and then there are these rips in the fabric of, I don't know, our universe, our dimension. That's the word I want. So it's set in like modern day Earth, right? But there are these hellscape kind of rifts that have consumed cities in different parts of the world. But there are witches. So basically, like, the idea is that, the same witches from like the Salem times, that some of them survived and there are witches. And when these rips in the fabric of our dimension popped up, all of a sudden the regs, or the regular people, were like, oh my gosh, we need magic to combat this. And so witches were able to kind of come out of hiding and they became demon hunters. And they maintained like the boundaries of these rifts. And so like our main character is a vampire hunter, especially, and vampires in this universe are individuals that were bitten by a demon from this alternate plane. And so like her unit has been saying for a long time that vampires are demons and they're tainted by this alternate universe, and so they need to be put down because they're ultimately going to turn into like these ravening beasts, and they can't control it, and they will murder people. And so she kills lots of them. Like, she's really good at it. She's basically an assassin of vampires. And then she gets like a special assignment, and it turns out that her special assignment is to be with vampires in a unit. So she's like stuck with them to accomplish a mission, which is to take down like a bad vampire and prove that not all vampires are like that. And in the process of that, she learns that the ones that kind of lose control are humans that get infected with this vampire virus, but witches that get infected actually can get better. So they have the initial like blood craze, but then because they're magical, they can come back from it and go on to live normal lives and like drink blood from blood donors out of bags and stuff, and just, be normal other than needing blood. So now she feels bad because she's been murdering her own people because she's a witch. So she agrees to work with these 3 vampires to prove that witch-based vampires deserve to live and have all the same rights and everything as other people. So that's kind of the first book. And then the second book is, okay, now they've gotten a mission that they need to go into the demon rift and figure out why it's expanding, and if possible, figure out a way to close it. And if they can do that, maybe they can like save people all over the world. So that's the one I'm on right now. It's really good as well. So I'll put, like I said, I'll put the title and stuff down here in case you want to check it out. I have several books that are physical books that I need to read. I have Chain of Thorns from Cassandra Clare. I'm going to do like a read along with Disa from Disa's Craftwork podcast. I have the Encyclopedia of Fairies, which is the book club book for the Flies and Hellhounds Patreon group. I have failed at every single read along that we've done. I suggested the Wicked Ugly Bad series, the first book, as one of our book club books, and Gabby finally read it and she loved it, so I'm so excited. So yeah, maybe we'll do one of those at some point. But Cassandra Gannon is another author that I will read everything that she ever writes, and you should too. because she has a great sense of humor, and her books are just so funny and light and enjoyable, but they have these moments of like real, true, like feeling and interesting perspective and stuff. I've gotten some really just great deep quotes about like love and friendship, and yeah, she's a great author. I love her stuff. FedEx is delivering right now. So anyway, that's basically what I have to share with you guys for this week. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you all get some time to do the things that you love. I'm going to try to do some things that I love this weekend and not have any commitments to do stuff, because I've had a lot of weekends of like commitments to do things, and I'm ready to just like chill for a weekend. So until next time, I will talk to you all soon. Take care.